now tuned into the greatest.
Discipline myself, so when that bag come, I won't fumble. I'm just stacking on the low, but hey, I'm tired of being humble. Let me get to it. That motivation music, get control of your life. Don't let nobody else do it. Cause when I gon' have matching S550s cruising, feel like you winning on the ground.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. Now, I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like or you dislike, go ahead, shoot us a quick take, 219-413-9405. And of course, we'll play your take back on our next episode. And then shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. You can use the promo code The Run Podcast and save yourself $20 off your next ticket purchase, whether that's a concert, game, anything you want to use it for. It is basketball season and the playoffs is here, which is why I had to go ahead and bring in my special guest, Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. What's going on with you, man? How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good, Manny. I'm glad to be back on. Every time we chop it up, we always have good conversations in the sports world. So I'm glad to be back on your show today with you, man.
Yes, sir, man. I'm excited to have you on, bro. So I needed some help with this playoff matchups, bro, because it's crazy. The playoffs matchups is insane. And let's take a deep dive straight into it. Because the first series that really caught my attention, and it's a couple of them. Obviously, my team finally back in the playoffs. So we love that. But this first series, the LA Clippers versus the Denver Nuggets. Now, it's interesting to me because obviously the Denver Nuggets, they fired their head coach, Mike Malone. So they have an interim head coach in there, David Adelman. He's stepping up. He's been an assistant coach for the Nuggets for a long time. But I didn't really have faith for the Clippers to win this series until they fired Mike Malone, because now I just think the morale is going to be too bad. To me, the whole entire season, we've seen the Clippers, they continuously gotten better, and now they're going out at the end of the season and going into the playoffs, winning 19 of the last 21 games that they played, which is just insane. They're on an 8-game win streak, and now they go play a Denver Nuggets team with no head coach. So I had no shot for the Clippers to win it at first, but now I'm like, okay, maybe they will actually beat the Denver Nuggets. So that's where I'm at on that perspective of, like, I don't know who will win this series.
Yeah, this is going to be a good series. I actually agree with you because I still feel like it was a silly choice for the Denver Nuggets to fire Michael Malone 4 or 5 games away from the playoffs. That's something you don't do. But I like the Clippers in this series. I actually have them winning in 6. I think it'll go to 6 at least. But I like the Clippers playing on both ends of the ball well. Like you said, they've won their last 19 out of 21 games. A healthy Kawhi Leonard is a problem, in my opinion, for the Western Conference. James Harden is starting to cook up as well, so he's playing pretty good. A lot of people don't talk about it, but Jeff Van Gundy has assistant coach for the Clippers out there in LA with Ty Lue. They have played really well on the defensive end of the ball this year. So I think with all those intangibles and all those reasons why, I think the Clippers are going to get past the Nuggets in 6.
Okay, I'm not mad at the 6. I'm not mad at the 6 games, and I think it can happen because, like you said, Kawhi Leonard, when he's healthy, man, he's a dangerous player. And obviously, he's finally getting into his routine. He's getting settled in again. But James Harden has been on a tear as well throughout the season. Now, the thing that concerns me is obviously you got to consider this one factor. Some dude out there with the Denver Nuggets named Nikola Jokic. Like obviously, the Nuggets don't have a coach right now, but I can't help but to think, like, Nikola Jokic is kind of like an on-court coach. Like, this dude can do everything. So that does concern me, honestly, when I'm thinking about that.
Yeah, because I think Nikola Jokic, like you said, he's like one of those players that had that basketball IQ like a LeBron. I think when I watched them play Wednesday night against the Sacramento Kings, he actually, during a timeout, was talking to his players, actually writing plays on the clipboard. So he's one of those players that can still play the game at a high level, but coach his team as well on the court. But Nikola Jokic is definitely going to be a problem for the Clippers. They're not going to be able to contain him or shut him down. That's just not going to happen. But I'm looking at the other role players for the Nuggets. Can Aaron Gordon step up? Can Michael Porter Jr. step up? Can Jamal Murray step up? Can Russell Westbrook coming off the bench step up? So these role players and starters have proved in the past for Denver. But I want to see what they can do against this Los Angeles Clippers team that is basically hot as a forest fire heading into the postseason.
This is so true. And you know what they say about Jamal Murray? They say he only step up big when he play the Lakers. If he ain't playing the Lakers, they say Jamal Murray ain't stepping up and he ain't really making nothing happen. So with this matchup, I kind of want to focus on the matchup wise now. On paper, looking at the roster, I kind of side with the Clippers as well, but I've done that in the past, and it never really made a difference come postseason. I think they have a slightly deeper team than the Denver Nuggets, but like you said, if Murray can step up, if Gordon can step up, if Michael Porter Jr. can step up as well, then obviously the series, might be different. But to me, in order for the Clippers to lose this series and the Denver Nuggets to win this series, we're going to have to see some crazy performances out of Nikola Jokic. I think that's the only way it gets done in 7 games, or even less than 7 games if the Nuggets are going to win this series, because Clippers are great defensively and they obviously have been figuring it out on the offensive end. So I think if there's a slight chance that the Nuggets do win, it's going to be because Nikola Jokic is giving us triple doubles after triple doubles after triple doubles and making history and history and history. I don't see it happening any other way.
Yeah, and that brings up a good point because, yes, it's phenomenal to average a triple-double like he did in the regular season, but you're playing like basically every other night in the postseason. You got to be available, and if your legs aren't underneath you, you're not going to have much success in the postseason. So if they drive Nikola Jokic to the ground, have him at least play 34, 35 minutes a night, I mean, he's used to it, of course, but I don't think that's a recipe for success to drive your best player into the ground, and you need your legs underneath you for the postseason.
This is true. It's not sustainable, and we've seen that with the Knicks, which we'll explain that series and talk about that series pretty soon. But we've seen that with the Knicks last year is Tibbs gave the guys so many minutes, and they played so many minutes throughout the series that by the time they even made it to the Eastern Conference Finals made it to the next round, I should say, they were already beat down and bruised up and couldn't even continue on the fight. So it's like you don't want that same thing to happen to the Nuggets. But either way, I see the trip ending right here with the Clippers, man. I would be shocked, and it's going to be a team effort guarding Jokic. It's not going to be one player that can just shut him down. They're going to have to really just center the focus around Nikola Jokic to stop him from scoring the ball, because, I mean, he's too great of a player to just let somebody go 1v1 with him. And then, obviously, if Porter Jr. isn't knocking down his shots and Jamal Murray isn't giving those spectacular performances like he does against the Lakers every time they match up, then you might be in luck if you're the Clippers, because you don't have to worry about, other players that's really igniting for, 30 points and 40 points. So I think it's a good thing here. But I think we both can also agree to Clippers probably win this in 6 games is what you said. And then I'm going to go on record and I'm going to just say, For this series here, man, I'm going to go Clippers in 5, man. I ain't even about to waste the time. Yeah, I'm going Clippers in 5, bro. Like I'm not gonna play around. I think Clippers win this in 5.
That ain't a bad take at all, though.
I think they get it in 5, bro. They got it figured out, and they've been hot. Team morale is, bro. It's an underrated aspect, bro. Like, team morale is huge when you talk about going into the playoffs and, carrying on some momentum. Like, you think of the momentum that the Nuggets are carrying over. They're carrying out, okay, we got to figure out how we're going to do this without our actual head coach. We got to they're trying to figure it out. Versus where the Clippers are looking at it like, we have it together. We have it figured out. We got to make sure we stay sharp on this, this, and this. So, it's going to be interesting to see. But that does bring me to a thought of some of the play-in games. So we'll jump into the play-in games. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the play-in games really quick. All right, so the play-in games is happening. The play-in games is the start off. Actually, they're coming very, very soon, actually. I think this is the first games. We get them tomorrow, Tuesday? Yeah, so we get the playoff games very quick. Your team, the Miami Heat, is in the play-in games, and they'll be playing the Chicago Bulls. I'm gonna say my thoughts on this, and I wonder what you're thinking about the Chicago Bulls in the Miami Heat series, or not even series, just play-in game.
Yeah, man, this is a mess. The Eastern Conference is atrocious compared to the Western Conference. I mean, when you talk about stacked teams and how the race went for the Western Conference compared to the East, a team like the Miami Heat, nearly 10 games under 500, should not even be in playoff contention at all, even in this play-in tournament.
This is facts.
But I got the Bulls winning. Go ahead and end the Miami Heat season. full of misery and disappointment. I mean, the Bulls, don't get me wrong, they actually have been red hot. They won their last 10 out of 13 games.
Yeah,
they've actually swept the Miami Heat this season, winning the series this year 3-0. So I like what I'm seeing for the Bulls this second half of the season. The ball movement from Josh Giddey, I feel like it's not being talked about enough.
This is facts.
Kobe White has stepped up. Nikola Vucevic is playing well, and the Miami Heat have truly declined since Jimmy Butler has left. I think they're like at the bottom tier of points per game offensively in the league, which is somewhere you don't want to be after trading your star player. So I got the Bulls winning this play-in tournament game.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, man. I think, Miami Heat, they obviously still have skill over there. And that's one of the things that drive me crazy about the Miami Heat is they have skill. Like, Tyler Hero is good. Bam Adebayo has been playing at a great level, probably the best that he's played since he's been in the NBA. But yet they cannot win games and close games out. So that's the one thing that drives me crazy about the Miami Heat. And that might just come back to bite them in the butt when they play the Chicago Bulls. I think you made a great point there talking about how they haven't beat the Bulls literally all season, which is wild to me. But also, it's like, they got to be able to close out games. So now you're going in a play-in game, possibly trying to get in the playoffs. But you got bad morale. You ain't been playing good. But you play a team that you haven't beat all year. And that's scary. You never want to be on that side of the equation when you talk about potential matchups and possibly getting in the playoffs. So I'm definitely I'm gonna go with the Chicago Bulls, man. They just been playing good basketball too, so I think I got to side with them on this.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world for the Heat. I mean, this is what happens when your star player gets traded midway point through the season. It's been a bad relationship.
This is facts.
But also, it's a good thing because that gets their hands in the pot for some type of luck for the lottery. That possibly have a top 10 pick, or even get even more luckier for the NBA lottery coming up. So you already know, even if they get past this play-in tournament game, they're getting swept either by the Cavs or the Celtics if they were to make it out. So just go ahead and end it Tuesday, Wednesday night, and just take it from there.
You said you've seen enough, bro. You ready to just stop the bleeding and just wrap it up with the Miami? I get it, bro. Look. People forget, man. I've been a Pistons fan all my life. So I've seen the worst of the worst. I've been at that point. So no, I definitely get it. And to credit the Bulls, man, I gotta give them credit because Josh Giddey, he's been on another level and he has not been getting the credit that he deserves. It's insane to me because the man almost put up a quadruple double and nobody even made a sound about it. So it's when a player is playing that good and he's doing his thing to that level, it has to be acknowledged. And I think, I would love to see them at least get into the playoffs after, a season where everybody was doubting them and nobody even paid them any attention. But it would be a lot of promise for the Chicago Bulls if they could get into the playoffs. And for the Miami Heat, I think it would be helpful for them to go back to the drawing board and really figure some things out and sit down and think like, okay, where do we move Bam? Are we going to keep him? Are we going to keep Tyler Hero? Like, it causes them to think. And this, to me, it would almost do the Miami Heat better if they did lose this play-in game because they have a lot of talent. They just got to figure it out. And I think if they go in and they lose, this could be helpful for them.
Yeah, and you made two good points for these teams moving forward. The Chicago Bulls have always in the Eastern Conference flirted with the idea of being a play-in tournament team, and they're always in the mix for that. And it would be nice to see them if they can get a 7th or 8th spot. Well, they have to get the 8th spot in the Eastern Conference. So it'd be nice to see that. And for the Miami Heat, the talent, it's not the end of the world this year. The talent is still there. Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, but you got to have another solid piece or another veteran player that can help this team elevate moving forward if you're going to build around the young players of Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo moving forward.
Yeah, this is true. To me, I thought they could have got more in return off the Jimmy Butler trade, but obviously they had to just do what they had to do because Jimmy wanted to go. The relationship just seemed to be getting worse and worse as time went on. So, I understand that you got to just take the guy you can get and keep it moving. But I'm still on the side. Talent-wise, Miami Heat should win this play-in game. Talent-wise, they should win because they have more talent on their roster than the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls, they got some good guys on there. And like I said, they've been playing great as a team. But I think if you go personnel wise and you look at the sheet and you see what this guy's done in his past and all of that stuff, a common person would go with the Miami Heat. So part of me, I am going with the Chicago Bulls to win this play-in game, but I still think the Miami Heat will win, man. I don't know why. It's weird. I don't know why. I just got a feeling, you know?
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know, but we'll see. We got more stuff to jump into, so we'll take a quick break. Here's what we're gonna do. We got some more stuff. Obviously, we gotta talk about my Detroit Pistons because they're about to win the NBA championship. Of course, we gotta mention them, and I gotta hear your thoughts on that series with the Knicks. I should have brought the rest of the guys on from your show. I should have had them on too. I'm gonna have to do that next time because. Yeah, man, we always have a fun time when we're on the hop. So,
yeah,
that's cool. I should have brought them on too. And yeah, We'll all right. Anyway, look, here's what we'll do. We'll take a quick break, play a couple ads, and then we'll be right back with another play-in game and also a playoff game and a playoff series to talk about. But right now, we'll take a quick break, and it's halftime. We'll be right back. All right, so let's get into it, man. Now, we got one of my favorite series, which I think is probably going to be my favorite here, but still here with my special guest, Thomas Tyree from On the Hop Podcast. Definitely check it out. He's here to help me break down some of these playoffs matchup. And this next matchup here, you got the number 3 seed in the New York Knicks taking on the number 6 seed in the Detroit Pistons. Now, you know who I'm going to pick, and I think everybody listening to this know who I'm going to pick, so I got to hear from you. What you think going to happen in this series between the Pistons and the Knicks?
Honestly, this is going to be music to your ears. I think this is going to be one of the best series in the first round, and I had the Detroit Pistons winning.
Okay.
I think it's going to 7. It's going to go down in the Garden at Madison Square Garden. But I think the Cade Cunningham takeover is here. I mean, the Pistons are 3-1 against the New York Knicks in the regular season this year.
Yes, sir.
The Knicks have a bad track record of beating good teams. I don't know why. But they just can't beat good teams.
This is true.
So Cade Cunningham, I think he's going to be the best overall player in this series. And he's played like a elite point guard or elite guard this year. Across the entire NBA, he's averages 26 points per game, and I feel like the Detroit Pistons are going to come out there and send a message to the New York Knicks. Plus, a lot of people talk about the upcoming that your team has had, but a lot of people fail to realize it's been a top 10 team defensively since the All-Star break. So I think the Pistons are going to give the New York Knicks a run for the money. I think it was a bad draw for the Knicks in the first round.
Hey, man.
I got the Pistons winning in 7.
In 7? Okay. In 7, the Pistons winning in 7. Look, I'll address that. But Thomas, bro, look, man, you better preach, dog, because you over here spitting facts. You're spitting straight facts, man. Everybody sleep on the Pistons, and then I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. As soon as they beat the Knicks, everybody going to wake up, and they going to want to be on the hype train of what the Pistons is doing and what the Pistons got to do and how great they are and how great they may possibly be. But everything you said, I think you hit it right on the money, bro. Pistons are definitely here. They've shown that, and anybody who watched the Pistons play, you can clearly see that they're a talented team that's ready to beat the New York Knicks in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Like, it doesn't get any more evident than watching these two teams battle multiple times throughout the year. The Pistons have beat the Knicks 3 times this year. The Knicks have beat the Pistons once. Twice at Madison Square Garden, where the Pistons have won. Cade has dropped a triple-double multiple times against the New York Knicks, and it's clear that they do not have an answer for Cade Cunningham. A lot of people want to sit on here and they want to comment and stuff. I be seeing y'all in the comments too. They love saying, oh, well, wait until OG Anunoby gets to guard him. Wait until this guy gets to guard. Wait until he get to guard him. And guess what Cade do every single time? Triple-double. Take another triple-double. That's it, and go home with an L. That's exactly what Cade Cunningham does every time he goes to the Garden, every time he see the New York Knicks. So I don't know why all of a sudden these Knickerbockers think something is just going to be different and they think something is going to change when that is not going to be the case. And if I have to give a prediction, I know I'm talking crazy about the Pistons, but no, seriously, I think the Pistons can wrap this up in 6 games. I know you mentioned 7 games, but I think they could wrap it up in 6 games just because they're playing great basketball as is. And I mean, man, when these guys are rolling, they're rolling and they're solid defensively. And the Knicks they've been up and down, man. They've been so inconsistent whenever I look at the game of the New York Knicks. So it's like, I I don't feel threatened by if I'm the Detroit Pistons, I don't feel threatened by the Knicks at all. Coming into this series just because the Knicks have been so inconsistent.
Yeah, you had a lot of good points. Well, Cade Cunningham, this is a guy that's not only playing like an elite guard this year, one of the best guards in the league, but this is somebody that is a closer. He's had some game-winning shots. Like, I mean, I texted you and we talked about that after he did the Heat in Miami, man.
Yeah.
He's doing these type of things all year long, and then the inconsistency with the New York Knicks has been a vocal point that I followed. Yeah, they're seeding-wise, they're a top 3 team, but that doesn't show the overall picture of what they really have played like. Because if you can't beat teams like the best teams, they're 0-2. They have a combined record against the top 3 teams of OKC, Boston, and Cleveland, 0-12. And then you're 3-1 against the Detroit Pistons. How can anybody trust or believe what you're doing?
Come on, man.
And then to your point with the defensive matchup of OG possibly being on Cade Cunningham, I've said this in the past about the Knicks. They are a good team, but there is something doesn't click for me with their wing pair, Mikal Bridges and OG out there in New York. Something just doesn't click for me.
This is so true.
So if somebody like Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns does not show up the entire duration of the series, no matter how long it goes on, the Knicks are in trouble, and I feel like the Pistons are going to capitalize on that. So I said 7, you said 6. I think 6 could be reasonable because if it goes to 6 in Detroit, the Pistons might want to put it away there before they go back on the road.
I'm telling you, I think 6 games is all the Pistons need. The Knicks, they pride themselves on being tough and physical. Guess what the Detroit Pistons are? Tough and physical, and they're even more consistent in that area. But really, I want to go back to that point that you made of against the top teams. The Knicks have not won. They're frauds. I'm sorry. The Knicks are frauds. And everybody is going to see it in the playoffs. And at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, you're just going to have to accept the fact that the Knicks are fraudulent. That's exactly what they are. And they've shown signs of this all throughout the season because there's no reason that you're losing against all of the top teams. They're 0-10. You played the Cleveland Cavaliers 4 times, didn't win a single time. You played the Boston Celtics 4 times, didn't win a single time. You played the Oklahoma City Thunder twice, didn't win a single time. Like, it's embarrassing, and they're frauds, bro. To me, I would have to see them go in and really smack the Pistons up to change my mind from everything I've witnessed of the regular season. But until then, until I see them change my mind, then I'm dying by Pistons in 6 without a doubt. I don't think that's crazy. I don't think it's wild. I know there's a lot of people out here who hasn't really watched Pistons games, so they're not really aware. But for anybody who's watched Detroit basketball and watched Pistons play basketball this season, I think you have a clear understanding that yes. More than one game, I should say. You have a clear understanding that, yes, they can actually make some damage happen and get the Knicks up out of here. And don't be surprised when it happens either.
Yeah, not a bad take at all, bro. Not a bad take at all.
Yeah, man. So with the Pistons, I think they'll be good. And I think they have a legitimate shot to make something happen as well. Obviously, I said I'm going to vote on them. I'm going Pistons in 6 games. You got them going in 7 games. I wouldn't be mad at 7 games. I just want them to get out the first round, which I think is very reasonable. However, there's another playing game, and this playing game is for, the playoffs. So let's go ahead and bring this to attention as well. I think it's necessary that we discuss this team here. So the Golden State Warriors will be taking on the Memphis Grizzlies here, and the winner of this game will be moving on to the 7th seed or something like that. And then they'll be playing to see if they ultimately get the 7th or 8th seed. But the winner of this game is going to get in the playoffs regardless between the Golden State Warriors and the Memphis Grizzlies. In this matchup here, initially, I'm like, the Warriors got it. But watching the way the Warriors closed out the season, it did not make me happy. It did not look good. It didn't look like a team where I could really stand behind and have faith in, watching the way they closed out that last game. It looked awful. So now you're going against the Memphis Grizzlies, who've been pretty much balling. Ja Morant's been killing it. He's been, lighting people up literally and dropping bombs on them. Ja Morant's been hooping. And they also have a Defensive Player of the Year on there who I think should get it. But Memphis Grizzlies, you can't sleep on them, man. I'm going with the Memphis Grizzlies in this play-in game. I just think they're still talented, and at this point, they've seen the Warriors enough where they're not really shocked anymore about a Draymond Green, a Stephen Curry, and all the stardom and the experience there. Grizzlies also are kind of an experienced playoff team, and they've been in these situations multiple times. So I think the Grizzlies can stand tall and beat the Golden State Warriors.
Oh, all right, Manny.
Who you got? Let's hear it.
I'm gonna have to. Whoever sees the video part of this is gonna be laughing. But Ja Morant with the several gun gestures and picking several GTA different gun gestures in basketball games, or him throwing grenades to the crowd like he's playing Call of Duty Warzone. That ain't gonna cut us for this playing tournament game Tuesday. I'm going with the Warriors. I think they've just been a much better team. Even though they finished a little under what we expected to close out the season. They've shown me the type of energy that they're going to bring to the playoffs. I was watching that epic game yesterday between them and the Clippers that ended in overtime with the Clippers winning, but that type of ball game felt like it was a playoff atmosphere game, and they were holding on to the very end, and they just made a few mistakes and lost. But I think the Warriors have been playing better overall than the Grizzlies have been in the second half, with the Warriors acquiring Jimmy Butler, and I feel like they're playing much better on both sides of the court. I don't have much faith in the Grizzlies because the firing of Taylor Jenkins also so late into the season, that is hurting the Grizzlies, a young team that needs coaching guidance. And that was another mistake that happened too. So I think the Grizzlies will escape eventually out of the play-in tournament, but I don't think they'll win Tuesday night against the Warriors.
Okay, so I got a question. I gotta propose something to you, because you mentioned obviously Grizzlies have been shaky, but this is a team, both teams have honestly been shaky. and I think that's been evident for anyone who's been looking at the games. They've both been shaky, but it doesn't concern you. The way that you mentioned the Warriors stayed around in that Clippers matchup, and it felt like a playoff game, but it doesn't concern you that they actually lost the game.
It didn't really. I mean, they should have won that game.
That's what I'm saying, though.
There was some things going. I mean, Steph Curry had the hand wrap, but that didn't bother him. He had one hell of a game. The Jimmy Butler towards the end got hobbled up. He was trying to defend a block on Kawhi Leonard, but they ended up colliding knees. So he was basically still out there, but limping, and wasn't really effective to take a final shot to possibly tie the game to go in the second overtime. Plus, Draymond Green made a mistake in that game. I don't know why they gave him the ball to try to.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's stuff like that where it's going to come back to haunt you, because you can't just brush it off and all of a sudden you ain't making mistakes no more. This has been a team, they've been making these type of mistakes the last 10 games of the season, and then all of a sudden in a game where you needed to win to secure a playoff spot, you end up making some more mistakes. So I really feel like that's going to happen against the Memphis Grizzlies if it comes down to it. We've seen them make mistakes in these crucial games that they needed to win, that are must win, and now you're going in a play-in to play again for a play-in spot. And who's to say that same silly type of mistake might not happen? They might give it to Draymond Green and say, hey, cook something up again. Like, it's insane. And that's where I'm thinking about, like, okay, well, yeah, I want to have faith in the Warriors, but I really can't have faith in the Warriors because they keep proving me wrong each time.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so it's weird. And then the Grizzlies, that's just a hungry team, bro. That's a hungry team. Like, yeah, they lost Taylor Jenkins, which I do think is, if they get in the playoffs, they're out of there first round. Just kiss it goodbye. They're out of there first round for sure, without a doubt. But man, this is just one game we talking, and that's the tough part about the play-in as well, because it's literally just one game. Anything can happen in this one game, and that's it.
Yeah, that's facts. And I think regardless who wins, I know Ja is going to come out playing very well and effective. I want to see how the rest of the team responds. I know Jaren Jackson is there, possibly could win another Defensive Player of the Year award. I want to see how the rest of this supporting cast that Ja Morant has playing against this Golden State Warriors team tomorrow. I want to see how the depth matches up against the Warriors, and I want to see how the bench plays a factor as well.
Yeah, I think the biggest part for the Warriors, they're going to need their support. They're going to need everybody to step up. But with the Grizzlies, the difference maker for them, I think, will be Desmond Bane. If Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, and we get Defensive Player of the Year in there, and he's doing his thing. Jaren Jackson, all three of them, if they show up big and they have a solid game, not necessarily anything spectacular, but if they show up and they have a solid game, then I think they could get the Warriors.
Yeah, that's a good point that you made.
I think they got them. But anyway, I mean, I guess we're just gonna have to find out. We just gonna have to watch and find out, and from there, that game comes on Tuesday. That's kicking. Actually, no, that's the late game. So that'll be happening later on Tuesday night. We'll find out who's getting that 7th or 8th seed, and moving on and definitely securing the playoff spot. So it'll be interesting there. Anything you want to go ahead and add, feel free to, drop your socials, or if you just got one hot take you just got to get off your chest, go ahead and drop it on us if you need.
Yeah, you can check us out on socials of On the Hop 08 on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. You can check us out on Apple Podcasts as well. That's where you can find On the Hop Podcast. A hot take that I have, a really hot take that I have.
Let's hear it.
Man, it's a hot take.
All right, hey, I'm ready. I'm ready for it.
The Lakers might get to the Western Conference Finals.
Oh, bro. No way. No way.
I'm not saying they will, but depending on everything plays out, they could get to the Western Conference Finals this year.
Thomas, I wasn't expecting you to say this, man. Not you. Not you. No, not you. Not all people. Not you. Not you. You got them going to the conference finals?
They may. I'm not saying they will, but okay. So let's see. They're the 3rd seed. I think they could beat the Timberwolves. They would have to play. Who would they play in the second one? The winner of the Nuggets and Clippers, right?
Nuggets. Yeah. Yeah. Pulling up. I'm pulling the bracket back up too. So. They would end up playing, if they went on, they beat the Timberwolves. From there, they would play Nuggets or Clippers.
Yeah, bro. I don't know. I can see it happening. That if it's Lakers or Clippers, that's going to 7. Like we said, the Clippers were going to beat the Nuggets. But, yeah, bro, I can see it. I can see the Lakers getting there.
Oh, man. I don't know, bro. I really don't have faith in the Lakers, bro. I don't have faith in the Lakers, man. I don't know what it is. They're still just. I think it's. I get they got Bron and Luka, which everybody is drooling over still, but I just don't think they have the complete team they need in order to go that far.
Which makes sense because the big question mark is the big, but Jackson Hayes has been playing pretty solid. And I think that's why I favored them against the Timberwolves, because somebody that's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, and Rudy Gobert, for some reason, struggles against small ball lineups. I don't know why.
Bro, that's because them Defensive Player of the Year awards was fluke, man. That's what it was. He didn't earn them, bro. Them Defensive Player of the Year awards was fluke, man. that was ridiculous. But no, that was a bomb, bro. I wasn't expecting that. So now I gotta ask, who you got winning it all? Who you got winning the finals this year?
Winning it all, that is.
And then we'll wrap up.
I'll go over some quick scenarios. I don't have somebody right now, but the favorites I would have to say the Celtics, OKC, and the Cavs. Now the Celtics are questionable to me because they got the committee to bring back 13 out of 15 players that just won a championship last year. Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, the Jaylen Brown right knee injury is not being talked about a lot. He's taking injections for his right knee right now. A bruised bone in his knee. And he's not 100% healthy. So that is going to be questionable to see how they play. But I think they could get back to the Eastern Conference. The Cavs, I got a lot of faith in them. OKC, I got a lot of faith in them. This could play out with one of these top seeds being knocked off or upset at some point based off of who's going to get there this year in the East or the West.
Yeah, so I kind of agree with you. I'm the same way right now. I don't really have a definite pick. But one thing I can be sure about, I 1,000% think the winner of the NBA Finals will be a team from the Eastern Conference. Whether it's the Boston Celtics or whether it's the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Detroit Pistons, I would just, the third one is wishful thinking. I ain't gonna lie. But no, seriously though, I think between the Boston Celtics and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they can probably beat anybody. If Celtics goes back to the finals, they're winning the finals without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my hot take, I guess, if anything. But nah, man, look, we about to get up out of here. I do appreciate you joining, bro. Of course, always a pleasure having you on the show. It's always super fun having you on the show, hearing your thoughts and picking your brain about different things. I'm going to go ahead and you dropped your socials and all of that stuff too. So, you know, if you're listening, go ahead, check them out on social, man. Check out the takes and all of that too. So I'm going to leave y'all on a positive note. And the positive note here is just going to be, you know, take a break if you need to, and then just come back stronger. Take a break if you need to and come back stronger. I ain't saying how long the break got to be, but, you know, just take a break if you need to and then come back stronger. So I ain't saying you got to take 5 years, 10 years, 3 weeks, 3 days, whatever. Whatever break is comfortable for you, that's what you need to do. So, yeah, other than that, man, that's all I got for y'all. So I appreciate you for tuning in. We'll be back later on this week. And then follow us on Instagram as well, at The Run Podcast, TikTok at The Run Podcast, YouTube at The Run Podcast. Wherever you get your podcasts and watch your sports stuff, check us out on there. And then, yeah, man, we'll be back later on this week. And so on and so on and so on.